My brothers and sisters in Christ, the daily pre-recorded reflection from the Dialogue of St. Catherine of Siena continues today with the first part of section 11, as God continues to speak to St. Catherine. Such are the fruits of action that I ask of the soul, that virtue should prove itself in response to need. This is what I told you long ago, if you remember, when you wanted to do great penance for me. You said, "What can I do to suffer for you?" And in your mind I answered, "I am one who is pleased by few words and many works." I wanted to show you that I am not much pleased with one who simply shouts, "Lord, Lord, I would like to do something for you," nor with one who wishes to kill the body with great penances without slaying the selfish will. What I want is many works of patient and courageous endurance, and of the other virtues I have described to you, interior virtues that are all active in bearing the fruit of grace. Actions based on any other principle I would consider a mere shouting of words, for these are finite works, and I who am infinite insist upon infinite works, that is, infinitely desirous love. I want works of penance and other bodily practices to be undertaken as means, not as your chief goal. By making them your chief goal, you would be giving me a finite thing, like a word that comes out of the mouth and then ceases to exist, unless indeed that word comes out of the soul's love, which conceives virtue and brings it to birth and truth. I mean that finite works, which I have likened to words, must be joined with loving charity. Such works, undertaken not as your chief goal, but as means, and not by themselves, but in the company of true discernment, would please me. It would not be right to make penance or other bodily works either your motivation or your goal, for as I have already said, they are only finite. They are done in time that comes to an end, and sometimes one has to abandon them or have them taken away. In fact, it would not only be meritorious, but would offend me if you continued in these works when circumstances or obedience to authority made it impossible to do what you had undertaken. So you see how finite they are. Take them up then, not as your goal, but only as they are useful. For if you take them as a goal and then have to abandon them at some point, your soul will be left empty. This is what the glorious Paul taught when he said in his letter that you should mortify your body and put to death your selfish will. In other words, learn to keep your body in check by disciplining your flesh when it would war against the spirit. Your selfish will must in everything be slain, drowned, subjected to my will. And the knife that kills and cuts off all selfish love to its foundation in self-will is the virtue of discernment. For when the soul comes to know herself, she takes for herself what is her due, hatred and contempt for sin, and for her selfish sensuality. If you act so, you will be my delight, offering me not only words, but many works. For as I have told you, I want few words, but many works. I say many rather than giving you any number, because when the soul is grounded in charity, which gives life to all the virtues, her desire must reach the infinite. As for words, I said I want few, not because I have no use for them, but to emphasize that any act in itself is finite, and can please me only if it is undertaken as an instrument of virtue and not as virtuous in itself. Let no one, therefore, make the judgment of considering those great penitents who put much effort into killing their bodies more perfect than those who do less. I have told you that patience is neither virtuous nor meritorious in itself. Were that the case, how unfortunate would be those who, for legitimate reasons, cannot perform actual works of penance. But the merit of penance rests completely in the power of charity, enlightened by true discernment. May God bless you all.